here we have this: he who has pity on the poor lends to the Lord. And let me say one more law. I think it's Leviticus, but you have like many times when people are in a difficult situation and they go in debt. Sometimes they sell themselves as slave, or they end up having to sell their property or something. Probably Leviticus 25. Leviticus 25:25. If one of your brethren becomes poor and has sold some of his possession, his kinsman redeemer, his redeeming relative, he may come and redeem what his brother sold. Or if the man has no one to redeem it, but he himself becomes able to redeem it, then let him count the years since its sale and restore the remainder. So you have laws like this where you're in unfortunate situations. Many times, remember, in our American context, it's hard to understand this, hard to relate to it, but in most of human history, you have cattle, you have harvest, you have farming, and there are years where the harvest is not good. Bad weather, all kinds of stuff, catastrophe, whatever, and you're in a difficult place, and you have to sell your possession, and the kinsman redeemer, close relative, helps out by buying it back. These beautiful laws. And like verse 35, this is Leviticus 25, if one of your brethren becomes poor and falls into poverty among you, then you shall help him like a stranger or a sojourner, that he may live with you. Take no usury or interest from him. Do not take advantage. No interest. Do not do that. But fear your God, that your brother may live with you. You shall not lend him your money for usury, nor lend him your food at a profit. I am Yahweh your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to give you the land of Canaan to be your God. So God had such laws like this, the God of the poor and the weak and the widow. And in the New Testament, you see the same kind of thing. We'll probably see later, but yeah. So in Proverbs 19:17, he who has pity on the poor lends to God. Look at that amazing truth. It's like you're lending to God. Of course, God does not need money. We know that, okay? We know that. But it's as though you're lending to God. And will God not fail to pay you back? Of course he will. But now in the New Testament context, let me make this clear, okay? In the New Testament context, okay, I'll just flip to like Luke 12. Look at this. You can go to Luke it might be 14. Luke. In Luke 14, verse 12. So Luke 14:12. Then Jesus also said to him who invited him, when you give a lunch or supper, dinner, do not ask your friends, your brothers, your relatives, nor rich neighbors, lest they also invite you back and you be repaid. But when you give a feast, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, the blind, and you will be blessed, because they cannot repay you. Isn't that amazing? You're blessed because they can't repay you. For, look at this, you will be repaid at the resurrection of the righteous. See, many times people, credit card companies, now I don't blame credit card companies because they need to make money too, but you know that many times people lend, they give, so that they can get something back. That's the motivation for many people. But for Christians, I don't care if I'm paid back. It doesn't matter. I don't need to be repaid. And I show love to these people that cannot repay me. But one day, at the resurrection, God will repay you. And so I went over with Pastor this thing of like the rich man, the rich young ruler, and things like that. But Jesus told that rich man, I think we know the rich young ruler, Matthew 19, Luke 18, where he came to Jesus, Lord, what must I do to have eternal life? And Jesus went over the law and he said, but you lack one thing, sell your possessions, give to the poor, and come follow me. But the rich young ruler, he couldn't let go. I just can't let go of my riches. And just went away. Sad. He was absolutely in bondage to his stuff, his money stuff. But see, Jesus said there, give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. So, see, the Christian's viewpoint, perspective is absolutely different. I don't need to be repaid down here. God will pay in eternity. Okay? So, the Christian worldview is absolutely different.